Welcome to another edition of 10 with Tom. This one's a little different. Instead of seeing my ugly face, you get to see 9 beautiful faces. I'm with the Operation Christmas Child Mission Team. We are in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we just want to share some of our experiences. And so, anybody want to start and share something, Paul? All right, what do you got?
Well, for me, I was doing socks like it was no tomorrow. It's worth coming up here. It's exciting, and you meet all kinds of crazy people, and there's over 10,000 people in that place.
Yep.
Boy, I'm telling you, it's amazing.
And is that crazy in a good way?
Yeah, in a good way.
In a good way. All right. Somebody else, what was your experience like this week?
It was very rewarding. Basically, you got to find out what other people are like, and
No, keep going. Keep going.
It was just rewarding in the fact that you were putting boxes together for children who never received a present in their life.
That's for sure.
We saw a lot of people who were touched by it and received experiences that they wouldn't have had without those boxes.
Okay. This was your first time.
Yes, it was my first time.
Was it what you expected?
More than what I expected.
Okay. So would you recommend somebody else try it for the first time next year?
I think everybody should try it at least
Yeah,
once.
everybody should try
Okay.
it next year.
All right. Somebody else, tell me about your experiences.
Well, I was a box inspector, and it was very interesting what was in those boxes. So I learned a lot about what should and shouldn't be in the boxes, which will help me when I prepare future boxes for our church. I also met people from, I guess you would say, all the way west to Ohio. People were very friendly. We took breaks when we needed to take breaks. We worked in 5-hour shifts for 3 days. Tom has been a great leader, great driver, great driver. So I would just recommend the experience to anyone, because we are giving back to millions of children and families throughout the world. The boxes that we inspected were going to Peru, Panama,
Ecuador?
just throughout the world. You know, there are boxes going, and we prayed over the boxes, and we know that within next year there will be a number of happy children and happy people after they receive and open the boxes.
All right. One thing that you mentioned, Sue, was finding things that, go in a box that maybe you hadn't thought about, getting ideas for next year. What was something that you all saw in boxes this year that you may not have thought of before and said, that's a good idea? Or maybe something that you saw in a box and went, maybe next year I'm going to leave that out. Any stories like that?
I thought toolboxes was really cool. Lots of people took like little pencil boxes and they just bought like a bunch of little tiny tools and they made little toolboxes, which I thought was really smart because like something that might be not like a little kid here will want a good toy, but the kids out there they can build lots of different things that is more useful to other people.
And if you can't stand on the line, you can always come join me at the fillers.
Right. They have jobs for everybody.
They
And
have jobs for everything.
Mike and Jenny, you were talking about that this morning at breakfast. And you said something to me, and I don't remember how you worded it, but do you remember how you worded it about if you're worried about coming here?
Well, yeah, one of the things is there's many tasks that you can take on, and each task, it takes you about 5 minutes to learn it.
Yeah.
And then you feel very comfortable with what you're doing. You're always active. You're constantly, working on something. And we were putting boxes, I guess they call it crating.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. We have a great appreciation for getting the boxes that are standard with you know, Operation Christmas Child, the red and green boxes, because they fit in the crates a lot better.
Yeah.
But it was a challenge too, to try to get 15 boxes in each crate, at least 15 boxes.
Okay.
They count on that when they get to the foreign country.
That's true. They do. The people that are putting cartons together, it matters. And those that have cartonized at the church know the importance of getting 16 in. And that's not always possible here. All right, what were some of the other jobs that people did? We talked about cartonizing. We talked about inspecting. What else? What other kind of jobs? Of course, Paul was working in putting filler items together that have been donated by corporations. We saw a lot of those this week. What other kind of jobs?
There's a taper extraordinaire.
Taper extraordinaire. Yes, she is.
So, yeah, taping's fun. It's tolling for sure, but it's really fun. Try to get it perfect. Get really good at it eventually.
Well,
So,
somebody asked me back at the church, does every box need to have a rubber band? And so when we're at the church, we always put rubber bands around them. What happens to all those rubber bands?
we always put them in boxes. They go in as like an extra gift, is what they always like to tell us. So
Kids
it's like
play.
keeping balls out with it. And yeah, we do all kinds of different things with it. So
Right, because where we
they always encourage us to put them
rubber band them to keep them together, once they've been inspected, then that's where our taper extraordinaire actually tapes them shut for their journey onward.
Because a rubber band would never make it.
Right. Mike?
No, I'm sorry, I thought the rubber bands were to shoot other people on the line.
There's always one of them. Like you might imagine, we have fun. There's an example. Some of the adults are just tremendously
Child.
creative.
Creative and childish, yeah, there's a mix of that, yes.
And making fun. One of the things that I really, it came home to me in a way this time that has never come home to me. When you buy the gift and when you pack your box at home or at the church, take the stuff out of those little boxes and take up all that room with air around them. You buy a thing of Matchbox cars, take the cars out. Cars take up no room at all. But if you leave them in that packing material, couple of things. It really limits the number of things we can get into the box. And so the child that gets those wonderful gifts doesn't have maybe a chance to have as many things. And we want every box, we want every kid to be blessed as much as possible.
Sure.
The second thing, if you're gonna come, be prepared. This is a caution. You will never come just once. If you ever come, you will keep coming and coming and coming. I came the first time, you come 4 years, right? I came when were you? Okay, so I came the first time 5 years ago, and I'm telling you, I plan all year to come. I would never, as long as I can walk. And this year I had some questions about whether or not I was going to be with Paul, sitting down, putting fillers together, or whether I could work the line because of my recent surgery. But it was all great. It was just great.
They had, like, you said, lots of options. They also had stools for
Oh,
people
yeah.
who didn't want to go take a break, or if they didn't want to go do the fillers, they still want to be on the line with the rest of the group. They did have
Yeah,
the
yeah.
stools provided for everybody.
So we could get off our feet, for a few minutes, and you can always take a break and go sit and have a water or whatever. But it's just a great place to be. The people that every line of 10 people or so has, I don't know what they call them. What do they call them? A supervisor.
A line leader.
Somebody that can answer your questions and help you if you're having issues or a problem or you don't know exactly what to do with a certain item in a box. But I was so impressed when we left tonight. They always pray you out at the end of the shift. And I mean, we pray a lot during the day. They'll stop and have you put your hands on the box and pray with you for the children that are going to receive the box. But it's not just about kids that getting gifts that have never had a gift before. It's about the opportunity for every child that gets a box has the opportunity to get the gospel in the form of the Greatest Journey, which is an evangelism tool that Samaritan's Purse and Franklin Graham have put together. And many, many times those children's families come to the Greatest Journey. So kids learn who Jesus is if they don't know, and the parents learn who Jesus is. And many, many churches are started in unreached areas because of Samaritan's Purse. Missionaries that I personally know in the Philippines and in Guatemala both say that Operation Christmas Child gets them into places that they would never, ever, ever be able to go. And they've been great in supporting their work to evangelize. So it's just
That's a great
super way.
It's much more than just a simple shoebox.
Oh, yeah, and it's much more than just giving Christmas presents.
Mike?
Just to put it in perspective, we, at the end of the 7th day this year, they had over 1 million boxes processed. And that takes a lot of people, and we saw a lot of people.
In this center,
In this
and they
center.
have 7 centers.
Yes.
So,
Actually, there are 8 centers.
8 centers, 7 other.
So one in California, there's one in Chicago, there's one in Denver, there's one in Dallas, and then on the East Coast, you've got Atlanta, Baltimore, Charlotte, and Boone. And so in those 8 centers, they will process close to 10 million just in the United States. Now, for folks that are watching this, you were probably very impressed on November 19th when you walked in and saw 1,000 shoeboxes. And if you take that visual, just today, we processed 150,000 shoeboxes. Now, we're starting to run out of time, but is there anything that any of you would want to share that maybe surprised you, or something that you might say that would help somebody who comes for the first time be a little better prepared?
Just wear comfortable shoes, comfortable clothes,
Okay?
be open to learn, and anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. I like that. And what's the weather been like?
Freezing.
Fabulous.
Really good though. Really nice.
Yeah, I know the Floridians have been freezing because it's been down in the 30s. It was 24 degrees here this morning. But in a warehouse environment, it was very comfortable. So you don't have to worry about how to dress. A long sleeve shirt protects you from flying rubber bands from people who like to shoot them. It's a place where you just want to dress comfortably and have a great time. But I'm guessing if I asked, is this a hearty encouragement to others to come? I think we've already heard that yeah, you should join us all next year because we do have a wonderful time. So any last thoughts anybody wants to share before we shut it down and say goodbye for today? Yeah. Goodbye. All right. So thank you all. We appreciate you. We wanted you folks at home just to see the group that has been representing you and taking good care of the next step of this operation. And we do hope that you'll join us in the future. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you again on Friday with another devotional from the Word for you today. Have a great day.